Do you want to know what $100,000 in income allows you to buy here in the state of Rhode Island? Well, we're going to discuss that in today's video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Rhode Island, subscribe below, tap that bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market here in Rhode Island. My name is Devin, and my team and I, we get calls and texts every single day from people just like you, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or you can send us an email so we can help you make a smooth transition here to the Ocean State. In today's video, I have our premier lender, Jason Savoy, here, and we're gonna talk about what $100,000 in income allows you to buy here in the state of Rhode Island. Jason, let's take it away.
Excellent. Thank you, Devin. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you having me here today. So just some quick context before we break down these numbers and provide visibility into the purchasing power and the payment. So this analysis, we're using median FICO of 705. If that's letter grade in a test, a 705 is like a B+.
Sure.
So passing grade works well. We're looking also at down payments of 3 to 3.5%, which is typically the minimum if you're a non-veteran. So looking at FHA, conventional, USDA.
Yep.
Quick caveat, debt to income ratio. So DTI, as we call it, it's a function of what comes in monthly for you W-2 guys, what comes in monthly before taxes.
Sure.
Versus what has to go out according to the credit report. So when you're looking at comfortability of payment, just be cognizant that we're not looking at your cell phone bill, we're not looking at your utilities. So when you look at these payments, you want to have enough wiggle room, enough flex, if you will, to still be comfortable to meet that obligation. Regarding this particular example, we're using not a big debt load, but we're using student loan debt
of about
like
30
to 40,000.
Okay.
I think is the nationwide average for a bachelor's degree of 4 years. We use, if that is deferred, we still have to quantify a payment, and we still have to put something in there. So that's something to be aware of. Those numbers are 1% or 0.5% based upon the loan type. So for example, 30,000 of debt, you're going to see a $300 payment we have to factor in, or 150 contingent on that program. We're using an automobile loan. Average used car payment is about $500 to $600 a month.
Okay.
And then I'm assuming some credit card debt. Nationwide average, I think, is about $7,000 or $8,000. That might carry a payment of $200 or $300. So when looking at these examples,
we're using kind of averages.
Correct. And that's important for qualifying, because these numbers can change drastically based upon your debt load, based upon that score, as well as the down payment.
Sure. And these are all contributing factors that change, but this is going to give you just a high level perspective. If you're making $100,000 in income, we're going to talk about $150,000 in income and also $200,000 in income.
Exactly. And one further delta, one other variance is where you purchase, right? So the real estate taxes, the homeowner's insurance. If you're in a flood zone, these payments might be more or less. So just a ballpark estimate is the idea.
Sure.
So $100,000 a year, purchasing power, we're going to see right around $400,000. That would carry with it a payment of a little over $3,250. That's including real estate tax, homeowners insurance, and PMI, private mortgage insurance, based upon the fact that we have less than 20% down.
Yes, and these numbers, of course, will change as your down payment increases, if your credit score is better, if your debt is lower. So again, there's a lot of contributing factors to this payment.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because interest rates as well are falling, and that's going to enhance purchasing power quite a bit. So silver lining coming our way. The Fed slated to cut in September. The trend is down. So it should open up affordability across the board.
So if you're making $100,000 in income and you kind of fall within those averages, and your down payment is going to be 3 or 3.5%, you're looking at a purchasing power of about $400,000 and a payment of $3,250.
You nailed it. And if you're comfortable with that payment, that's your sphere. That's where you want to be. And just as far as managing expectations and looking at a situation where you're comfortable and you're in a position of strength financially, so you're still able to build your net worth in other ways, 401k, savings, principal reduction, these things, that would be the ceiling. So I've gone right to like
the top.
Any
much
further,
as you can
it
afford.
becomes a hardship.
Sure. Okay. So that's what we have a good idea of what $100,000 in income allows you to produce, or allows you to your purchasing power. Anything else about that example at $100,000 that the viewers should know?
No, I mean, we've kind of covered all the variables with it. These numbers can change based upon the loan program. So there's like FHA, for example, puts the proverbial weight of the approval more squarely on the income, less on the credit. They have more leniency, if you will, with that debt to income ratio. So these are ballparks, and you might get to 420 or 430.
Especially if you do a seller, a closing cost credit.
Exactly.
Things that we can do that we've done on many deals, right? That we could discuss with you.
To your point, the second part of that is, that'll allow options with seller concession for 1.0 buy downs to lower the rate.
Sure.
That's going to make a sizable difference here on some of these payments as well, but not necessarily on the qualifying. If you are doing a buy down, we still have to go off that larger number.
Absolutely. So now we know if you make $100,000 in income, that's your purchasing power given these averages. Let's talk about your purchasing power at $150,000.
Right. So at $150K annual income, qualifying up to $650 is realistic and should be comfortable based upon that same debt scenario, same credit scenario. Total monthly payment. So again, taxes, homeowners, PMI, $5,200 monthly. Pretty big number.
That is a big
compared
number.
to years gone by.
Yep. It's changed significantly.
It's changed,
right?
and it will again. So I think it's important that you have to be comfortable with these numbers and these payments, but also be aware that this is likely the worst it will ever be, right? Like if you're able to make this payment, you're comfortable with it. You got to remember, Devin, too, we're paying back this money with future dollars.
Sure.
And future dollars are always worth quite a bit less than today dollars. So what we see is this might seem at the very top of your budget and a huge number today.
Yeah.
In 3, 5, 7 years, it won't seem like it won't. I guarantee you it will not.
Yeah. And real estate has always statistically been a great hedge against inflation because of material costs and labor costs continue to always stay steady on the rise.
Exactly. That's a great point.
So if you're making $150,000 in income, given the scenarios on average that we've given, your purchasing power is going to be about $650,000, and your payment per month is going to be about $5,200.
Exactly.
Safe to say?
Safe to say.
All right. Let's talk about you're producing an income of $200,000.
Right, so combined total household income, $200,000. Different price bracket here. We're going to see quite a different echelon as far as property, square footage, beds, baths, site view, design, lot size, all these things. You'll know where that money's going. So at the $850 price point, total payment would be about $6,750.
Sure. So we have a purchasing power of $850 if you're making $200,000 given the averages that we discussed, and your payment's going to be about $6,750 per month.
Yes, sir.
So given these scenarios, and this is, Jason, again, this is really helpful for our viewers out there to understand, just to kind of recap what we talked about today, taking the averages that Jason spoke about in the beginning of the video, just to recap what we were discussing. If you're making $100,000 in income, you can roughly guesstimate that you can afford $400,000 in purchasing power and a payment per month of $3,250. If your income is $150,000, you can guesstimate that your purchasing power is $650 with a monthly payment of around $5,200. And if you're making an income of $200,000, your purchasing power is roughly going to be $850,000 with a monthly payment of $6,750.
You nailed it.
All right.
That's the long and short.
Absolutely. So if you're looking to purchase a home here in Rhode Island, all of our contact information is going to be in the description below.